and doing fantastic,
Yes, that's
All right.
right.
We're live. So
we are live.
We're just different today. We just have more support, and we can do more as opposed to just cherry picking,
That's right. That's exactly right. Are we letting some people get on?
No, I thought it'd just be you and I today. We're in a private group.
We not open it up to anybody? Just have a little FaceTime?
Right.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, just catch
So what do you want to? Yeah, what do you want to talk about? The good, the bad, the ugly? Just the bad and the ugly? Just the ugly.
Let's, Mr. Blackman.
Hey, Mr. Blackman.
Hey, Mr. Blackman. I was about to text you because I've been trying to make it work and I can't make it work. So I was going to text you right after this because literally I was trying to rearrange the schedule. I'm not going to be available today at 4:15 Eastern, but I can be available at 3:30 Eastern or tomorrow or another day, if you can hear me, Mr. Black. So it's been crazy, and just got a text where I got to be somewhere at that time. Got it from the wife. So anyway, let me know. You can text me.
Are you about done scheduling your calls on here? Can we get started?
No, can you give me one more minute? Because I also want to reach out to
Sorry, everybody. Miss Angelieri, Mr. Poole.
Gotcha, Mr. Blackman.
Can
you let Mr. Blackman and I coordinate this, please?
Can you be done?
All right, we're good. All right.
Got Shelby, Mr. McGraw. Hold on, let's welcome some of the guests here, Mr. Metzger.
Mr. Rosenthal, Mr. Hendrick. Hello, everybody.
Welcome, Mr. Edge.
Mr. Edge.
Edge. Come on. That was my sense of humor, dude. That was
yeah, and I saw that we lost a person when you did that.
That's good. That's good.
So, Tass, what you don't know could be hurting your business. It's what you don't know that's hurting your business.
I don't know.
Exactly. It's gonna be a short broadcast today.
Yeah, there's
Mr. Arce, Mr. Hogue.
Hey, Mr. Arce. How we doing, everybody?
So, I was thinking about this, Tass.
Yeah.
Wait till the Monday CMA meeting. There's going to be big things happening. Monday CMA meeting, everybody. Be there.
Big news.
But anyway, I was thinking a lot about this. What holds this industry back, right? And we get on this broadcast and we always talk about, we try to give tips, right? But when you're dealing in the martial arts industry, and I say this in a positive way because this industry has a lot of ego, but I don't necessarily think it's all negative ego, right? But it's ego. You're a martial artist. You're a martial arts master. You're a Shihan. You're a Sabanim. You're a whatever. And so, Mr. Archmont, 2008 in the house, when leg warmers were in the karate world.
Was that your video?
Yeah, that was the video.
When
I told Perry to reach out and say, hey, Mr. Archmont, you're not jumping into anything very quickly. Does your wife know you've been thinking about this since 08? We got film to prove it.
Oh, that's funny.
Here's the point, though, Tass, and then elaborate.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know what they don't know. So when we get on here and we talk about, the systems that we use, whether it's a class schedule or it's a pricing structure or it's upgrade programs, the difference is people just don't know that there's different ways of doing things. And somebody may say, I have upgrade programs, or I don't believe in upgrade programs. And they never explore. People will judge. I think a lot of people will judge without actually exploring. And what hurts the industry and what hurts people in general is they make their own truths in their minds and then they believe it. Tony Robbins calls that a global belief, right? It's like when you have something so strongly in your mind, you'll believe your own truth, and it's just because you just don't have the knowledge, you just don't know. And I think it holds people back. And I always tell people, and you all know this, whether you want to admit it to yourself or not, it will never hurt you to get educated. It will never hurt you. It can only help you. But a lot of times people are afraid to make a phone call and actually get on the phone with us to see what we have to say. You got people in another consulting group that want to talk about this, our consulting group, when they've never attended a seminar or got on the phone with us, right? And so that holds people back because they just don't know what they don't know. And for the people who do know, they don't understand how they look to the people who do know, right? And so
this is like a Friends episode right now. They don't know, we know, they know.
It's a Dr. Seuss book that I read, Tess. But my point is how often do you see this when you run into someone or talk to somebody? You'll bring something up and they'll be like, yeah, that doesn't work for us here. What they don't realize is it's because they don't know how to do it properly. They don't know what they're saying doesn't work here. They think they do, but they really don't, because it's these details that they're missing. And if we were to do a topic on here and say, look, your class schedule can change your life, which is something we do in foundations, we would not have a lot of viewers. Because everybody's going to say, look, I'm not changing my class schedule. It works great for us. Well, what they don't know is there's a right way and a better way, just as an example, because class schedule is not a sexy topic, but it holds people back in the industry, is my point. And to lead off on this task, what is something that you thought you knew that you realized you really didn't know when you came on board? Do you remember anything specific?
Dude, I knew it all, man. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, but just make something up.
Oh, okay. Let's see. No, here's a great point, right? And I say that in jokingly, like we knew it all, right? I want to make sure I say this so people don't misunderstand this, right? 80 to 90% of what I was coached on in the elite program were things that I was already doing, but doing differently, if that makes sense. So we had a pricing model, right? We had pricing. Everyone has pricing. We had an upgrade program. We had a schedule. We did booth events. We did 2-week courses. But it wasn't the what we did. It was the how we did it in the details that made all the difference. And I think that's where sometimes the ego does get in the way is, yeah, well, we do that. Well, we do that too. And I do the same thing. And we do upgrades and da. But how and are you following the details? Because it's in the details that will like explode your business exponentially. And people don't understand. And regardless of the business, right? It's not the what you do, but it's the how you do it. And I think those are the things, I'll give an example. And this is something that I taught I teach now to clients. But a booth event, here's a perfect example. A booth event, old school, this goes a lot of years back, but old school, we would run a booth event and we would have a little demo to get a crowd around us and we would give out information like that was, and they're like, well, booth events don't work. Yeah, they don't work that way. There's a better way to do a booth event, right? Which we won't go into it now, but there's a better way to do it where you're literally booking appointments and you walk and leave that booth event with a list of names, numbers, and email addresses that you can contact to get to your school that are interested in your program. I've also seen people that we never did that. Well, maybe we did years ago, but it's like enter your name to win, I don't know, whatever, some crazy thing. And they get hundreds of leads, but they're not qualified. They're just trying to win whatever the widget or trinket or whatever you're trying to hand out is, right? That's all they're trying to do. It's like when you go to the mall, if you guys do the mall thing or wherever, I've seen this, and they have an entry for a car, like win a free vehicle. And then you get the call from the timeshares. Like that's all that is. It's they're just looking for names and numbers of people to call. They're not necessarily qualified leads. So when you understand how to run a booth event the right way, it actually motivates you to go do it again because the quality of the lead and the results are way better than going to an event, collecting 100 leads, calling every person up, hang-ups, people not interested, not showing up. You're like, man, it just doesn't work. You're just not working the right way. So that's one small example, but there's 100 different things like that where if you change it just a little bit, you got it 90% right. But if you just tweak it by 10%, it's exponential growth across your business.
And by the way, this is a great question here for Mr. Weaver. What are some of the signs you look for when deciding to listen to advice or just dismiss it? Is it simply number stats, or is it a gut feeling?
So listen, I mean, you got to, in my opinion, you got to follow success, and you need to ask the questions. So if someone's giving an example of saying, hey, here's a great idea, you should do a mass enrollment. Well, what's a mass enrollment? Well, it's where you get a group of people in front of you and you give them a special or a discount and get them into enroll in your school, and you're going to enroll a big quantity of students all at once. Okay. Well, what should I expect? Like, what should the enrollment percentage be? Well, have you done that before? And what do you normally get when you do that? Well, are you enrolling them on one-year programs, or are they on trials? Like, I'm going to ask more questions so I understand what it is that they're actually doing. And here's the unfortunate part. Most people are like, they're going to give you the hyperbole, and they're going to give you the embellished picture, and they're going to give you the pipe dream as to this is what it could be, or this is where they want to be, but they're not necessarily there. So yeah, man, you got to understand the source and where you're getting it from, the experience that they have. Do they actually run a martial arts school? I've seen this before, where here's a great idea for your martial arts school. Wait a minute. They were in the martial art business 20 years ago, but they're not today. Today, it's a completely different business than it was 20 years ago in a lot of respects. So how are we just giving out theory and ideas and not actually testing those things within our schools, right? So I think there's a lot of things to consider. And you also maybe want to look around. Who else have they given advice to? How is the advice working for their school? If you're talking consultants as an example, well, how many clients do they have? What are the results of their clients? Are other clients getting these results or not getting the results? And then we would tell you, hey, here's a list of, Amy, you pick a client. Here's a list. Go ahead and call them and ask them what their experience has been, and if they think it's a good idea or not a good idea, whether that's join a consulting company or a specific business system that you may want to implement. I think, just like in your own business, testimonials are extremely important, and who they help before you. So that's something I would look at.
So and Mr. Weaver, it's a great question. Gut feeling plays a part in it, right? You have to have a gut feeling on, do these people seem genuine? And, you have to go with your gut a little bit. However, what Tass is saying by asking questions is you really have to know the why behind the advice or the tasks that somebody is consulting you on or telling you what to do in your business. Number one, you need to know the why. Does it make sense to you? Right? Number two, don't chase the money, right? Don't chase the money. If people are just telling you, look, we're making 100 grand a month here. Well, that's interesting. How are you doing that? And then is that what you want to be doing? Is that the business you want to be in? Is that the culture you want? Does that fit your personality? Right? But you have to dive in and ask the questions to know how they're getting there. If I'm living in the heart of, I'm making this up because everybody knows this, but if I'm living in the heart of Beverly Hills and I'm doing $180,000 a month at my location, and I want to become a consultant, and I start telling you, look, I'm doing 180 grand a month, and I will give you the secrets, I will tell you exactly how we're doing it, and this, that, and the other, and you need to ask the question, because then what if you find out that I charge $350 a month for my students? Will that work for you in the middle of Kansas? Is that duplicatable?
Right.
Can that work? Right? Don't just get glamorized by the money. You're running a business, so we need to know that the information that you're getting will generate money. We need to make money, guys, in the business. I mean, you need to make money. But then you dive into, well, how are you making that money? Is it duplicatable? Ask the question. Don't ever say that won't work in my town. Instead, say, Tell me how that would work in a town of X population. Ask, but you don't know what'll work and what won't work in your town. So don't ever say that won't work. It's the economy is down here. Ask the question to whoever you're reaching out to. Tell me how that would work in a town like this. Explain to me why that would work in a town like this, or with these people, or with the way I want to run my school. Tell me how I can make that work in my school. And by the way, then it's not so much gut feeling. Now you're getting information, and you either are going to leave that phone call or that discussion with, man, that makes a lot of sense, or that didn't make any sense. They couldn't answer the question. And by the way, there's a task, and I don't know it exactly. I can call them in, and I'm gonna be very careful here. But you know how upset Perry was when he had heard somebody explaining, a way to do business, and when they asked, "Well, what do you do when a parent asks you this?" You just tell them, because that's what it is. Right. That was the answer. Well, why is it this much for this? Because that's what it is. That's the price. Well, that doesn't make sense to me, right? I need to justify how I charge, what I charge, what's the value, what are the benefits. You need to understand the why. The problem is, and Tass, we talked about this on a conference call yesterday. Let me be blunt. Let me be straight, because I got on a conference call with just the Maya team. And here's what you don't know, industry. Here's what you don't know. The industry talks to everybody, all the consultant groups out there. There is a mix out there. There's a mix, right? We have a lot of clients that have been with other consultants. We've had clients that are with other consultant companies. This sounds pompous, but there's nobody better to grow your school than Maya. And why would I say such a blunt statement like that? Because I know some of the people that are the gold standard in some of these other groups, and not every group, right? I'm sure somebody can say, but there's a lot, that have come back or left that are not with us, that are still with another group, but have glamorized by a shiny object when they don't even realize they're just not doing as well as they were. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that mindset is. It changes. And
well, how do you know that they weren't doing as well as they were?
How do I know they're not doing as well now as they were? Well, because we have people that worked with us before that have gone to other places, but we're friends with everybody. Like, we don't have clients that left Maya.
Do you? I'm playing devil's advocate. Do you know firsthand? And if so, how do you know firsthand? I mean,
I know firsthand because we still have communication with.
And you ask questions.
And I ask
questions, which is going back to Shane Weaver's point from before. That was my point, right? You're asking the questions and you're getting the answers, and you can look at where they were versus where they are, and it's just not just a statement made out of hyperbole. It's a statement that's made because it's a true statement.
And what bothers me is, look, we could like anybody. I don't think it's malicious and I don't think it's intentional. But if you're a good speaker, right? If you know how to connect with an audience, you could sway people, especially people that are in need to grow their business. When people are desperately needing advice and to grow their business, if you're a good speaker and can connect with your audience, you can sway them, and I mean this in a general sense, but you could brainwash people to make them seem like this is the best thing ever and we are killing it. I mean, and we're doing great. The difference is you just don't know how great you could be doing. You're just doing better than what you were doing. And so when I talk to different people and I ask questions, I don't understand why they're not doing so much more. And then I proceed to tell them, here's how you would be doing so much more. But it's culture too. I'm speaking for us, and Tass, you have moved from this side to this side. It used to be just me, but now you're there. Where our
I don't know if this is good or bad. I don't know if this is good or bad.
That's what it is. We're pretty straight. We're pretty straight. And a lot of people, there's certain personalities that do not like to hear the truth. And there is work involved. And they shy away from that and they stay in their comfort zone because they're doing good. They're doing good and they're doing better than what they were doing. But they don't want to get out of their comfort zone. It's too stressful. They'll just make it up in their head. Like, I can't do all that. I can't. Yes, you can. And by the way, that could be the difference in an extra $250,000 a year. You know, if you're willing to just slow down and open your mind again and listen. And so it bothers me a little bit, especially with, again, the industry that has never done one-on-one with any of us, Maya consultants, let's say, where they're just going to talk about us or any consulting company. If there was a Maya Elite client that wants to talk about another consulting company, my first question would be well, how long were you involved with that consulting company? And if they say, well, I wasn't, I won't sign up with them, I'll say, then how do you know they're not better than us? How do you know that? How do you know? Right? And then they better have an answer. Well, because I know 6 people that are there and we all started at the same spot and we are just at another level than all of them. Okay, well, that's a little bit of arsenal there, a little leverage for your argument. But unless you go and see for yourself, don't talk about it. And it bothers me to see the industry where a lot of people think they're doing so great, and they're not. You're doing okay, you're doing good, but you're not doing great. And by the way, the elite clients know, I'm the first one to tell the elite clients, you're not working to your potential. I'm the first guy to tell my team, you're not working to your potential if they're not working to their potential. But then, well, why? Where are the holes? And that's where we come in. We'll fill in the blanks and fill in the holes. But man, we've been doing this a lot of years. I just want to try to get in front of more of the industry so they at least hear it out and then go talk about whatever you want to talk. Give your opinion in social media. But I don't mean just like a 2-hour success seminar either. Get some one-on-one time. Let's dive into the specifics of your school. And then I'm going to tell you how you could be doing so much better. And I'll tell you exactly why. I'm not going to just say, oh man, yeah, you could be doing better. Well, come on with us and we can make you better. That's not what we do. We will tell you exactly why you could be doing better.
It's interesting. I literally just got off a 20-minute consult, which was 40 minutes, by the way. And I was happy to do it because the person on the other end was receiving the information. But, in this particular case, we can generate literally $10,000 to $15,000 a month more for this particular client. And I literally went through and explained exactly how we're going to do it, right? Whether they want the coaching or not, they have a pretty good blueprint as to what the overview and the 20,000 foot view is as to how to do it. But now it's up to them whether or not they want to get the coaching. But you're exactly right. That's what we do. It's not ever going to be based off of, well, listen, you just got to trust me and we can do this for you. Here's the specifics on how we're going to do it. And then, the topic of this, whatever, we're on Facebook Live, is what you don't know. But I think I was asked a question today, well, why is it that I can't seem to move to the next level? My first response was mindset. But my second response is also sometimes it's what you don't know. And because you know what you don't know, that becomes this overwhelming thing. Like, I know I don't know all this stuff, but I don't have time to be able to go out and do that. And the more you realize you don't know, the more overwhelmed sometimes that you can get, because your circle goes from this is what I know and this is what I'm going to do to, oh my God, the circle's this big, but I just can't find my way out. And how do I get help? And how do I get these things implemented? And that's where having a coach that can help and prioritize and get those things, in line for you really helps with everybody, anything, by the way. And that's not a pitch for coaching, but I know that that's happened to me as well. Like, man, it seems like there's so much to do and I don't know how to do all that, but I know I need to do it. And so there's that aspect of it as well.
So guys, keep the comments coming, because I'm going to brainwash everybody, and I'm going to give an example right now. Let me brainwash everyone, but keep comments coming so we can get more people on here for my mass brainwashing that I'm about to do. Now the scared people are going to jump off, right?
Oh.
But we're in a group of there goes two. They're like, oh, I'm not getting brainwashed, right? I'm out. We're an industry full of egos. So most of you are saying, okay, Metzger, you can't brainwash me. Let me tell you. Oh, there goes another one. Come on, where you at? There goes two more. So look, let me give you an example. So here's a gentleman that joined Elite, right? But let me tell you how I would brainwash the industry if I wanted to, if this person was not an Elite. Only 6,000 in my town, 2 other karate schools. Never thought I could charge what I charge plus test fees. Thanks, Maya. So if I was another consultant, I'd say, yeah, they're going to just tell you to raise your rates and start charging testing fees, and they're going to tell you how you're going to grow. And they're going to say, look, start charging all your people a test fee and raise your rates and
triple your rates.
Triple your rate. This is where somebody on the outside could brainwash people to say, this is what Maya teaches. And this is not what Maya teaches. Do we charge test fees? Yes. But why do we charge test fees? How do we show value? What do we do? What does that include? How much do we charge? And what does that include? And by the way, do we tell people that before they even enroll in our school? We absolutely let them know, listen, there's going to be extra charges, but this is what they cover. Is that okay with you, Mrs. Johnson? I don't want to sign you up. And then surprise you with test fees. Do we have some Elite clients that still aren't comfortable with test fees? Sure. Do we force them or tell them you got to charge test fees? We do not. Okay. Now, do we tell you to raise your rates? Sometimes we do. If you're not charging enough, we absolutely do. Do we also tell people to lower their rates? We absolutely do. Sometimes I think you're charging too much, and we tell you you need to lower the rates. And by the way, if you have 100 students paying a higher rate, what do? We say we're going to lower everyone's rate. It's not fair. You're not going to keep them paying more money when you start charging less. But then we're going to show you how to do something to create more value to where your customers by choice are okay paying the fee. I mean, there's so many details, but this is an example of how somebody can take this and then run with it and believe they know what Maya teaches when it's a snippet and it's not a philosophy. And then here's another one from Mr. Lockett. That was one of the biggest takeaways I had from the Elite event in Dallas. My eyes got opened big time to what is possible. If you guys go attend any consulting convention, you'd be able to say, I had a big takeaway and my eyes got opened big time to what is possible. This is how you can get brainwashed. But the question is, what is best for you and your business that aligns with your goals? Because everybody has a different goal, right? And so this is the stuff that you have to understand, you have to know, you have to ask questions. But please, I said it at the beginning, education is free and there's no downside to getting educated. Zero downside. Go get educated. Call us on the phone. Call other consulting companies on the phone. And by the way, if you're sitting there saying, I don't need a consulting company, then you're never going to maximize your success. Period. Plain and simple, you're not. Get out of your own way as a martial arts master and understand that if you want to make a bigger impact with impacting more people, if you want to generate more revenue to pay your people better or yourself, you need a coach. You need help. There's not a person on the planet that can get farther without a coach than with a coach. It's impossible. And that's what I'm trying to plead to this industry, to not be so scared until you make the call and talk to some people and all the people and then make a decision. And then if we were a tiny club, are your programs geared more at large schools, or is there a program you recommend for us too?
And they got that covered there. They were talking about hooking up with Klingenmeyer.
Mr. Rogers, Maya provides what I feel is most needed by many small business owners, accountability. That's a great point. We talk about this all the time. We ask people, not originally when they join. When they join, they need to learn, right? You need to learn the systems. But when we have clients that stay for years, I ask them, what keeps you in this program for years? The accountability. That's what keeps them, that's what keeps them. It's the accountability, because we all need accountability. We could always procrastinate and put things off, but you can't when a coach is going to check in with you, or a consultant or a mentor, or whatever you want to call it, is going to check in with you and get on you if you're not doing what you need to be doing. So we all need to be pushed, right? And then, yes.
Mr. Maddox, you get his. When exploring new process or systems, how long should you use it before you judge to determine if you want to keep it? I tend to keep doing things the same way I've always been doing things, and I have just not given enough time. Well, that falls into the you may not know what you don't know category, and you may be doing 90% of it right, and it's just the last 10% that needs to be tweaked. So that's a very broad statement for a lot of different systems, but I would encourage you, let's literally talk about, well, give me the first system that you're having a challenge with, right? And then we would identify what that is, find out what you're currently doing, and then look and see how we can improve that based off of what you're currently doing. Because there's probably just some small pieces that you're missing to make that work. And we've all heard the expression before, right? Like small hinges swing big doors. And so it's just sometimes the small things that we need to get those things fixed. And Metz has done this at several different conferences. Like if you offer birthday parties in your school, stand up, and 90% of the room stands up. If you sign up students from your birthday parties, stay standing, and then half the room sits down. Well, you all do birthdays, you all teach them, and some of you enroll students and some of you don't enroll any students. Well, why is that? It's because you're doing something different than what the other person's doing, right? What the other schools are doing. And that's the thing to consider with any system out there. Is it's like when we teach pricing structure. There are people that are afraid to do pricing structure because it's not what they're used to. And then if they give it a try and it doesn't work for the first 2 or 3 or 4 people, it's like, see, I told you it doesn't work. Well, explain that to the hundreds of schools that we have using it, number one. And number two, it works just fine. The challenge is it's in the presentation that you're giving, and you may have not bought into the fact that it's going to work. And those are some different things to think about. But yeah, I would want to know what the specifics, of the systems are individually, and then break those down and help fix those and fill the holes.
And Mr. Maddox, to expand on that, this is very important. Early on, 20 years ago, when I started consulting, I wasn't confident totally and sure that some of the systems that I was doing worked, everywhere in the world. I didn't know. Fast forward 20 years, I know systems that work everywhere. So if there's a system and you're like, how long should I use it before you judge it and determine it will be one to keep? We will go to the greatest lengths to find out where is there a breakdown in the communication. You may think, I'll say, well, did you do this? And did you do this? And did you set up, did you do the check-in? Did you do that? Yes. You come back and say, I did everything you said. We didn't get the results. I'll say, next time I want you to videotape it, and I want you to send me a video and I need to watch it. I mean, we will do everything we possibly can to find out what is going on. And I promise you, nobody has sent me a videotape that I didn't say, you didn't do what I said. You think you did. There was a miscommunication. What I was saying is not what you were hearing. Even though you say yes, there was a miss. And Tass, we have a saying in Maya, small details equal big results. You could have the smallest little things that you did differently, and it's going to alter your results completely. And so it would be like, and I use this example, a bicycle. Is anyone on here that has rode a bike, a perfectly working bike, where you just kept falling off the bike, like a small child learning how to ride a bike? Well, at what point does the small child just say, I'm giving up, this bike riding doesn't work? Well, when you see all the other kids riding their bike, it works. It works. It's you that needs to fix something. So why would we give up on that, right? We have to realize that I got to tweak something, my balance, it's me. That's how we see the martial arts business. I mean, it's as clear as crystal. We know what works for everyone. We just know. I mean, from doing it for so long, we would find out what's going on. Now, if you don't believe in it, that's different. That's different. If you don't believe in it, it will not work. And that's why, if you don't believe in it, we walk you through it. Go ahead, Tess.
I was going to say, that's why we explain the why, so that you understand it. You know, I just had a conversation, same person, about going through foundations, talked about pricing structure, did not implement the down payments, and said, well, then we didn't do pricing structure the right way, and just wasn't buying into down payments. And then when it was explained the right way and he understood it, or explained maybe a different way that he understood it, now he's like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. Okay, now I'm gonna go back and get it done. So it's just about giving the reasons why. So Mr. Olson, let's say you have a business with no systems. Well, first of all, you have systems. You just don't know if they're good or not, or if they could be better, right? So if someone want to learn all of the Maya systems, how long would it take? Well, we have a lifetime program for Maya, because it does take forever to learn the systems. I'm joking. You know, that this is where you would start in the foundations program. And the foundations program is just that. It's literally what we've done for years, taking one-on-one client coaching calls, bringing them through what they should be, their pricing structure, their actual programs that they offer. We actually take you through the schedule, and we take you through how to do a mass intro where you can fill people into your new foundational system, which is going to turn you a higher student value. Like, that is the martial arts 101 course, the foundations course, that you need to absolutely get involved with. If you want to know those key core business systems, you do that. If you think there's value there, then you can move up and you can go to different programs. But we start everybody there. And if you want me to be fully transparent, if you were doing one-on-one consulting, it depends on the student, right? It's like, well, how long does it take to learn black belt curriculum? Well, it depends on the student, how fast they learn, how fast they execute, do they practice, all those things. But from a learning experience, you're going to see everything in 12 months, and you're going to see we do a lot of the same things year after year after year. Whether you can absorb it all at one time in that 12 months is another thing, right? So it can take 12 months to maybe learn the systems, the next year to review the systems. But after 24 months, there's nothing really new that we're teaching you. It's about execution and getting it done. So it's not long at all in the big scheme of things.
And it's constant. You know, Maya didn't come up with Maya systems and like it's in a box and this is the box of systems and we teach it. It's constant. It's evolving all the time.
Correct.
I mean, like, who would have thought, like, we didn't have a system for COVID and getting shut down until it happened. And then you have a team of people that are school owners, by the way. That's important to understand. The consultants are school owners. So we're in it with you. And I have an entire team. And within 2 days, we scrambled and really did an unbelievable job, you know, getting through COVID. And so did all of our elite CMA affiliates. Like, they all did an unbelievable job. And we had to come up with new systems and new ways of doing business, as opposed to being a school owner, feeling alone, wondering what you're going to do, saying, I can't teach. I can't be in there. I mean, we're done. I mean, and then, by the way, here's a perfect example. You hear about all the people, well, I did virtual. We went to virtual. But how did you do virtual? What did you teach virtually? What was the purpose of virtual? Do you think you can provide the same quality instruction virtually as you can live? I'm going to tell you, you cannot. So you've got to modify what you're doing to keep the students engaged virtually, which is different than when they're coming to your studio live. How to keep these kids engaged, give them some exercise, give them an outlet. Let the parents have a little free time for 45 minutes twice or 3 times a week. But how are you going to keep these kids engaged? It's not by doing high blocks and a horse stance. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not by just doing katas in front of a screen. how do you exude the energy to keep them engaged, sweating, having fun? Those are the details you need to know. So there's people on here that says, well, we did it too. We went virtual. Well, how many students did you maintain when you went virtual? Did you just maintain, or were you able to grow when you went virtual? Because our mission was not, we just got to keep our students. Our mission was, we got to continue operating the same way. I got to recruit new students. I got to retain the students that I have. And I got to figure out a way to continue to generate revenue more than just our billing check, more than just the monthly payments that were coming in. But this is, again, where somebody would say, well, Maya said, you go virtual. We went virtual. We did it. Well, we did it differently, than a lot of people, right? And man, do you remember that in the early days of COVID, what we did at great lengths with the balloons, having instructors pull up in front of a house, surprising the child, working with the parent on the phone in secret, letting them know, here's when we're going to come by. I mean, yeah. There's work involved. There's work, but
you can't, you can't. It's so hard to do that when you're the only creative. But when you've got a team, right? We were talking to other consultants. You're talking to the executive team. I mean, and everybody can share the years and years of experience that you have, which, by the way, didn't really do anything in COVID. Nobody knew about Zoom until COVID happened. I know the majority of people didn't, right? But being able to pivot like that took a lot of, like you said, a lot of preparation, a lot of brain power in an office. But it's nice to be part of that team where everyone's looking out for everybody. And as opposed to being on an island by yourself and just trying to figure it out. Like, well, I think I had friends that did that. They're like, well, I guess we should be doing the Zoom thing. And then you would watch how they were doing it. And it just wasn't anything close to the way it should have been done, where they could have really done a bang up job with it. So yeah, that's the benefit of being part of a mastermind group or whatever, in a big group, is you have people looking out for you, and you're working with like-minded people, which always makes life easier.
It sure helps, man. When you're not alone and everyone's facing the same struggles, but more importantly, when you have a team of people that are in the same boat, but they're not struggling and they're thriving and they're succeeding, to be able to latch onto that and say, what are you doing? How are you doing that? And what exactly are you doing? How is that working for you? That's where it's powerful. But Tass, at the end of the day, people are people. People will make excuses. People will say, well, if you want to, you've heard it all. We've heard it all. Like, well, why, you just want our money. If you're doing so well in your schools, why are you charging for consulting? Because it's worth it. That's why. Because who would not pay $1 to get $10 back month after month after month? Who would not do that?
Plus, right? All the money I need for therapy after talking to some of you. I mean, that's why we have to charge for it.
And you're laughing, but you're serious.
I am serious.
I mean, it's hard work because we care so much. If we didn't care, it wouldn't be so stressful and annoying sometimes, right?
Right.
I mean, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But point is, you don't know what you don't know. Open your mind and it'll change your life. I mean, that's it. So
here's something you may not know. We have what's called Maya Edge. And that's a great place to start if you're not on it. But I think everybody on here is pretty much on that.
Right.
What else? 15 years.
Before I found out, and I'm just making money.
Lama.
With some money.
Nathan Lama. You know what? It's interesting. He says it that way. And I said the same thing. If I would have known what I know now when I first started, when I opened my school when I was 20 years old, man, I think about where I would have been. Like, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You know what, Tass? It's all levels. Going back to the point of how long would it take to learn Maya systems? I sat with my executive team 2 days ago, and we sat here saying, man, if we had this system in place 10 years ago, we'd be opening up 50 locations right now. The way we've created this pathway and this structure,
right,
that we have now that is going to help us tremendously in 4 years from now. But right now, we got to wait because this is a system we just started, in the last year. So it's always evolving. And what I also realize is for our own people and for all of our clients, every day we're creating a little bit more of a shortcut. What took us 20 years or 30 years will take them 1 year, or 2 years. And that's what we keep doing. Oh, here's the close, everybody.
Right.
Hey, let me just say something about Maya Edge. And I'm going to be honest with you. Maya Edge is a resource center. If you don't pick up the phone and call us on how to use some of the stuff on there, you're just not going to get the full value. Or watch the business videos on here. If you watch the business videos, it's almost like getting mini seminars on specific topics. It's going to help you tremendously. And yes, you get the social media calendar. But if you just sign up for Maya and you never log in, you're just not going to get any value from it.
Right.
But I can't plead enough on how much we can help this industry become better and more professional. And by the way, you remember what I was saying about our industry, how it's viewed in the professional world, especially in major shopping centers and retailers?
Right.
Well, listen up, industry. This is why, if you want to look at it from a selfish standpoint, this is why we want to also help our industry out.
Did you get word back on it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, after getting the initial green light to respond to our LOI, upper management confirmed that they do not want a martial arts school allowed, and they are not going to make an exception. Even though we have 97 locations, they're not making an exception. Why? Because this is a multi-billion-dollar REIT, let's say, that owns shopping centers all over the nation, and they've dealt with martial arts schools, and they consider those fly-by-nights. They open, they shut down, they no longer want them in their centers. That's how we're viewed. So please let us help you, which eventually will, in an indirect way, help us, right? We got to change our...
Listen, let me just parallel this for a second. So you have martial arts, then you have fitness. Do you think they're saying no to an Orange Theory?
Yeah, no, there's an Orange Theory in there.
Oh, there you go. There's an Orange Theory in that location. So we're not that far off, but how we conduct business is. And that's why when you have an Orange Theory, which is a franchise as an example, there is a system, proven systems. That's the way you run it. And that's how they're able to stay in business. So, that's why we need to get systematic in our business. We need to take a better approach, become more professional, and everybody wins as a result of that. Everybody.
Look, I see all these people on here. It's just so funny that we cannot get the rest of the industry. The majority of you that watch this show, or at least live,
they're lifers.
Well, they're all our family. They're all in the Maya or CM. Not all of them, but the majority of them are all in the Maya or CMA family. Hey, did everyone hear what I just read? We, Silverman and I, cannot get into a plaza that we want because they just have a written rule that they don't want a martial arts school. Can you pick up the phone and or private message us and let us try to help you if you're not in the Maya or CMA family? I mean, because I know we can. And I also know if you're struggling financially, I know you're going to be scared. And by the way, there's a lot of you on here that know, well, there's some of you, I think, on here that I've said, look, you're not making enough right now at all. We got to help you for free for a little bit. Here's some things I need you to do, work on it, and then call us back, because I'm not going to have you just be so stressed, over that if there's just nowhere for you to go right now. And by the way, here's the last thing I'll say. I doubt it, but here's one of the last things that I'll say. Some of you are not fit for this business. And we're also the ones to tell you that too. Sometimes just you're not in the right line of work. And that's a problem. That that sometimes is the case, right?
That's right. I mean, I tried telling you that for a lot of years, Mets.
But I'm like, I'm in the industry. I will not listen. So, thanks, Tess. What is this?
Nope.
Follow the systems, but most importantly,
didn't you come from a dance background? Actually, I mean, are you even a martial artist?
No,
Was dance?
I did ballet and hip hop.
Yep.
A little breakdancing in mid '80s.
So that's how he messed up his back.
Yes, and my hip. And went out and bought a black belt.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Now I feel like
people that believe that. Okay, we got yes. Let's put a time out. That was a joke. You got to let everyone know. Otherwise, did you know that Metzger owned a dance school and that's where he got his start?
Here's Mr. Halama. They wouldn't let me join Maya till they helped me afford it. That's the best testament in the world. I mean, it's like,
yep.
We're not everybody's cup of tea, but I know we can help everybody, right? Uh-oh.
Beat Street, black belt, Mr. Moore.
What is this? I hope.
I don't know if Tom Vu is a good dancer or not. I have no idea. Are you Googling Tom Vu?
No, I'm not.
Oh, all right.
By the way, maybe at the next event, I can show you my dance to Thriller.
You and Hacks can pop lock together or whatever they call that.
There it is. Oh, man.
Oh, you guys. Thanks for allowing us to have fun with you guys. Always.
Not everybody gets one of these.
No, that is very true. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Big deal. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Big award.
Well, is there any other questions? Any other questions before we sign off? And
how do I get started? I mean, no other questions.
So here it is, guys. I'll put it back up. Guys, thanks again. Open your minds, get educated, look and see what's available out there to help you take your business to the next level. But also understand, here's the hardest thing. Most of you don't know what you're capable of doing. Most of you do not know. So when you're here and you get here, you think you're on top of the world and, you know, this is the best thing you ever did, whether that's with Maya or anyone else. But we'll tell you that, no, you should be here based on where you're at, how big your school is, your staff, your enrollments, like, good, somebody said it, good is the enemy of great, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's the truth. So, all right. Well, guys, thank you, Mr. McGraw. And Tom Vu was popular on late night TV for his infomercials.
Oh, well, that would have been like our Ron Popeil or
no, our Don Lepre.
Don Lepre.
Taz and I both bought into Don Lepre.
Yeah. But now we can teach you how to make thousands from one small dojo in your town.
And once you can do it in your town, you can do it in all towns.
That's right.
The system. I'm going to go Don Lepre in Tampa.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Hey, if nothing else, join us in Tampa. Come to the Tampa event, October, you know the date. Taz, tell them.
Yeah, it's that third weekend, I think, in October, 20-something.
It's October 22nd and 23rd in Tampa. Get with Maya. Come out to the event, then make your opinions, then bash us on social media after you attend.
Yeah, right. And look, they're all great, but that's going to be a great one to be at because you will crush your fourth quarter if you follow the systems. I mean, you'll be blown away at what you can accomplish. But yeah, that's all the seminars.
Yes, sir. All right.
I got to jump. I got to get on a call.
All right, man. We'll touch base. Let me know. Let's talk about what I was saying.
Yes, we'll do. All right.
Thanks.
Sounds good. Appreciate everybody. Have a great one. Enjoy your weekends.
Take care.
Bye-bye.